What's up, it's Chris here. Welcome to another vlog. Today I'm going to be showing you how to full planche from the very beginning in 10 steps, starting with the very first progression. Now the full planche hold is an isometrics exercise where you're holding your entire body weight with your hands on the ground and your arms fully locked out. Pretty much engages all the muscles in your body as your entire body needs to be tense and working as a unit in order to maintain this hold. But although every muscle in your body will be engaged, you will be putting the emphasis on your shoulders, your lats, your biceps, brachialis, brachioradialis, your core, lower back, glutes, and your chest. But as I mentioned, you're really gonna need to be flexing all the muscles in your body and working them as a unit. And though it looks like I'm actually applying a tremendous amount of force to maintain this hold. And not only does this exercise require the strength of your muscles, but it requires the strength of your tendons and ligaments as well. Which is why it's gonna be important to train safely when learning the full planche, as it takes a lot longer for your tendons and your ligaments to strengthen and recover compared to your muscles. Now I'm gonna be showing you 10 steps, and I want you to keep in mind that every single step is crucial for developing your strength to moving on to the next step. So for example, if you're on step 5, you're gonna need to train step 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1 to develop the strength to get to step 6. And you're gonna have to do that for each step until you reach step 10. Another thing to keep in mind as we progress through the steps is that if you're training a step for the first time, you wanna train it by doing it every minute on the minute. And I give a full breakdown on exactly how to do that in my video, Do This to Master Your Body Weight. So check out that video if you want more of a breakdown on how to train every minute on the minute. That's the technique that we're gonna be using to help us progress to each step. Now lastly, it's gonna greatly help if you can already achieve these requirements before even starting to learn how to full planche. At least a 10-second L-sit with perfect form, 25 consecutive push-ups with perfect form, and at least 10 consecutive pull-ups with perfect form. Being able to do these requirements before starting to learn how to full planche is gonna ensure that not only you're progressing, but you're gonna progress fast, as you'll already have a foundation of strength and you'll be able to focus on your technique and your form versus struggling to hold an exercise because of your lack of strength. So if you're able to complete the requirements and you're ready to go, all you need to do is make sure you download the Harrier Pro app in the App Store or Google Play Store. Open up to the YouTube workout section. You're gonna find this routine. We're ready to get started. Now this very first progression I'm about to show you is gonna set the foundation for the rest of your full planche journey. When doing full planche or training for a full planche, you always need to have your arms locked out. And this may be a different type of training than what you're used to and relies a lot more on your tendons and your ligaments as well. So first we're gonna develop our straight arm strength, and it's very important that this is the first thing you master, because if you cannot do this properly, you're not gonna be able to do the rest of the progressions properly. You won't reach the full planche. So we're gonna be developing our straight arm strength with dumbbell straight arm flies. And when first starting this exercise, you wanna start off super light, something like 5 pounds. Your main concern should be maintaining this exercise with your arms completely locked out. And once you've acquired the straight arm strength and technique, you can then start slowly increasing the weight. And what I mean by having your arms locked out is by putting your arm out and basically having it hyper extended with the ditch of your elbow pointing out and applying force to maintain this locked out position with no bend at all in your arm. And that's how we're gonna be doing straight arm flies, as well as every other progression, including the full planche. So grab some light weights and we're ready to get started. All right, we're gonna need an elevated surface to lay on. I'm gonna be using this seat, and for light weights, I don't have 5 pounds in my house, so I'm gonna be using these parallettes as a demonstration. So we're gonna go ahead and start lying down. Now from this lying down position, you're gonna have your hands up, and you're gonna keep them with your ditch of your elbows straight, your shoulders pushing forward in a locked out position. And your hands should be by your waistline, not by your chest position. So let's get into position. This is also gonna help if you can bring your legs forward and simulate a full planche position. We're gonna bring our arms down and then come right back up. Let's go for 5 reps. Now another exercise you can do is come all the way down and just hold this position like as if you were holding a full planche. You can hold this for time. And lastly, you can come all the way down and bring it back up to the full planche position. The most important thing is that you're maintaining your arms completely locked out and straight. And eventually, as you master this, you can increase the weight. I'll show you a couple reps of that with some heavier weight. Now this is an exercise you're always gonna need to do to continue to strengthen your straight arm strength. It often gets neglected when people are trying to learn how to full planche, but continuing to do this exercise, even as you move up the progressions or can already do a full planche, will tremendously strengthen and increase the hold time of your full planche. So you wanna be able to master this with your arms locked out, be able to do at least 10 reps with perfect form of each 3 variations with at least 10 to 15 pounds before moving on to the next progression. But regardless, you're gonna continue to train this and continue to increase the weight that you're using for this exercise. Now moving on to the next next progression, which is step 2, we have reverse leg raises. We're gonna need a higher elevated surface for this one, so I'm gonna be using 2 chairs in my house. So we're gonna go ahead, lie down on the chairs, get a good grip, and right under your belly button is where you should end the support. So we're gonna bring up our legs all the way to a full planche position and come right back down. Let's go for 10 reps. Your legs should be locked out and your entire core and your body should be completely engaged. And the reason why this exercise is so important is because when doing a full planche, you're gonna need to maintain your entire lower body in a horizontal position suspended in the air, and your lower back as well as your glutes is what really helps you do that. And that's what we're gonna be specifically engaging and strengthening with this exercise. All right. There we have reverse leg raises, and it's also very helpful to hold the last rep. You can also use this exercise as an isometrics hold as well, doing a couple reps, but also holding that horizontal position. That's greatly gonna strengthen your lower back as well as your glutes. And if you consistently train this, it's gonna be a lot easier to hold and maintain your body in a full planche position. Now you're gonna wanna be able to do this at least 15 reps consecutively, also be able to hold this position for at least 15 seconds. So I'm gonna get these chairs out of here, then we'll move on to step 3, the next progression, planche leans. All right, so now we have planche leans, and it's gonna simulate the actual planche position without getting our bodies off the ground. We're also gonna start to apply our straight arm strength. So let's get down into a push-up position. Particularly with our thumbs facing forward, we're gonna come up in a slight pike position, and then we're just gonna lean forward, starting with our chin, pushing down on our arms until our hands reach our waistline. Then you're gonna come back and then lean again. Now, when you're first getting started with this exercise, just lean as far as you can. The most important thing is that your arms are always fully locked out and you're using the correct form as well as engaging your muscles properly. Eventually, the more you do this, you're gonna develop the strength to lean further and further until you can lean all the way to where your hands are at your waistline. There we have planche leans. The most important thing when doing this exercise is that your arms are locked out, you're pointing the ditch of your elbows out, and there's no bend in your arm at all. With your arms straight and locked out, you wanna push your shoulders down and round out your back like you're making the form of a scared cat. And once in this position with your rounded back, then you wanna start to engage your lats. And this is how you're gonna hold your planche leans. If you're not properly engaging your lats, you're gonna put a lot of the stress onto your delts, and you can definitely develop bad form or even a shoulder injury. So it's important that you're using perfect form and engaging the proper muscles and going slow to perfect your form, but also safely to prevent injury through these progressions. So take your time with this exercise and remember to train all the previous progressions. The first progression, straight arm dumbbell flies, is gonna greatly help your progress in this step 3, the planche leans. And once you can do the planche leans properly with your hands by your waistline, you wanna be able to do at least 10 reps with perfect form before moving on to step 4, which is the next progression. That's gonna be planche lean hold. So I'm gonna do one, and we're gonna break it down. All right, so there we have the planche lean hold. This is exactly like the planche leans, except we're gonna take it a step further and hold the furthest position that we can get to for time. So once you lean far enough that your hands are at your waistline, you're gonna stop right there and you're gonna hold that for time. One of the main objectives to a full planche is to lean forward enough until your lower body just lifts off the ground. So getting very comfortable with leaning forward and holding this position is gonna strengthen your lean with your straight arms, as well as getting it a lot easier to move up into a full planche position. So once you can properly do a planche lean hold, you wanna be able to hold this position perfectly for at least 10 seconds. Then you're ready to move on to the next step. At step 5, we're gonna be using the progression L-sit to tuck planche. And for this progression, it's gonna be very helpful to have an elevated surface. So I'm gonna bring back the 2 chairs, go for the L-sit to tuck planche, then I'm gonna break down this exercise. When you're first starting this exercise, it's okay to move between both of these positions rather quickly. And the more you do it, you're gonna eventually build the strength to be able to slow down these positions until you can go into the tuck planche and go back into your L-sit without any momentum at all. All right, so there we have that L-sit to tuck planche. Now the first thing when getting into this position, you wanna place your hands down with your fingers laterally away from you. Next, when you're moving into your L-sit, as you're bringing your legs up, you already wanna start locking out your arms, twisting the ditch of your elbows out and away from your body. This is gonna ensure that you're strengthening and maintaining a locked out arm position. Once you solidified your L-sit, that's when you're gonna lean forward, tuck in your legs to your chest, and push your arms down as well as your shoulders as you lean forward, just like you were doing a planche lean. The more you lean and press with your arms, the closer you're gonna get into the tuck planche position. And once you've reached the tuck planche position with your back horizontal and flat, then you can go back into your L-sit position. And you wanna start start transferring between both of these positions while maintaining your arms straight and locked out. And once you're capable of doing that with perfect form for at least 7 to 10 reps, then you're ready to move on to the next progression, the 6th step, which is tuck planche hold. But remember, if you're still struggling with the L-sit to tuck planche, you want to be using all the previous progressions, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1, as well as every other step to reach step 10. Now for step 6, tuck planche hold, it's going to be just like the L-sit to tuck planche, but once you reach your tuck planche position, you just want to hold that position. So I'm going to go ahead and go for it, then we'll break it down. So it's helpful if you start with your arms locked out in L-sit so that you can maintain that lock position, so that when you come forward, you already have your arms locked out in your tuck planche position. All right, so there we have the tuck planche. Shouldn't be much harder of a jump to reach from step 5. And as you can see, we're already starting to form the full planche, holding our entire body up just by our hands with our arms locked out and maintaining half of our body in a straight horizontal line. Now again, just like every other previous progression, this progression is super important to mastering your full planche. Training the tuck planche hold and increasing its time is going to directly transfer over into your full planche hold. So you're going to want to diligently train your tuck planche hold as well as all the previous steps and be able to hold the tuck planche for at least 15 to 20 seconds with perfect form before moving on to step 7. Now step 7, we have L-sit to full planche, and this is going to be the first time that we hold our entire body weight in a full planche position. This is going to be just like the L-sit to tuck planche, transferring from an L-sit position to a full planche position while maintaining locked out arms the entire time. So I'm going to go for 5 reps, show you what it looks like. And at the beginning, when first trying this exercise, you may be using a bit of momentum to reach your full planche. The more you train this exercise, you're gonna be able to comfortably move from an L-sit to a full planche without any momentum at all. And that's when you're pretty much holding a real full planche or super, super close to actually achieving it. All right, there we have L-sit to full planche. Now back in my day when I was still training to unlock the full planche, this was the last progression that I used until I was able to actually hold a full planche. I diligently trained this progression as well as all the previous steps that I showed you until I was able to transition from an L-sit to full planche without any momentum. By that point, when I was transitioning into my full planche, I would just lean as hard as I can and just squeeze, and I was actually able to hold the full planche for about a second or two. And that was the way that I started going into my full planche, from an L-sit straight into a full planche, and I would increase that hold, training it every minute on the minute until I couldn't do that anymore. Then I'll do once every 2 minutes. And eventually I developed more strength and increased my hold time, and I was able to hold the full planche a lot longer, and I was able to go into it from different positions as well. So once you make it to this progression and you're able to master it, you should be able to hold the full planche for at least a second or two, and that's all you're gonna need to be able to increase the hold time. But I'm gonna give you 3 more steps, 8, 9, and 10, to make sure that you're definitely gonna be able to full planche by the end of this. So before moving on to the next step, you wanna make sure that you can do this and slow down your momentum until you're basically not using any at all, and be able to do it consecutively at least 5 reps. Then you're ready for step 8, and step 8 is going to be handstand to full planche. We're not going to use these chairs anymore, so let's get them out of the way. All right, for this exercise, I'm gonna be using the parallettes. Now this step 8 is not mandatory. You can definitely learn how to full planche without even doing a handstand. But if you can handstand, I would highly recommend learning step 8, as it's one of the main progressions that gave me a super strong full planche, as it increased my strength and abilities to do even harder exercises like pressing from a full planche straight up into a handstand. Now before getting into this, if you can't handstand, definitely check out my video, How to Handstand 5 Easy Steps. In that video, I break down how to handstand from the very beginning, and there's a lot of people that have watched that video and have learned how to handstand in just a week and even a couple days. So with that said, I'm gonna go for the handstand to full planche, then we're gonna break it down. All right, so there we have the handstand to full planche. Like I said, it's not mandatory to be able to do a full planche, but if you start training this, you're gonna tremendously build a solid full planche as well as excel your abilities to doing way harder things. Now, when doing handstand to full planche, you wanna have your arms already locked out when you're in the handstand position. As you begin to descend, you wanna descend slow and controlled, squeezing everything, your grip, your arms, your core, your glutes, and pointing the tip of your toes. That's gonna help you to squeeze your legs and your calves as well. You also wanna make sure that your entire body is completely tight and straight, just like your legs. Your legs should be tight together. When you first start doing this, you're gonna start to descend pretty quickly, and that's okay, as long as you maintain perfect form, keeping your arms straight as you start to come down. And eventually, just like the other progressions, you're gonna start to control the descent, and you're gonna start to come down real slow and controlled. And when you get to that full planche line, you're just gonna squeeze hard, solidify that position, and boom, there you have the full planche. Now, if you master this, you're definitely gonna be able to full planche hold and so much more. But we're gonna continue to go on to step 9, which you can just get right into if you've already mastered your L-sit to full planche and you don't want to do this exercise for any particular reason, or if you can't do a handstand yet. Now step 9, we have full planche raises. I'm gonna go for a couple reps and then I'm gonna break it down. Now this exercise can be done with your hands on the ground or holding onto parallettes. It's gonna be a lot harder if your hands are flat on the ground. It's gonna be easier if you're holding onto parallettes. You definitely wanna train them both. But of course, if you don't have parallettes, you can always do this exercise with your hands flat on the ground. You're definitely gonna get a lot stronger. All right, there we have full planche raises. This exercise is just like the planche leans and the planche lean holds, but by this time, you should have developed a lot more strength to be able to lean a lot further and have enough strength to be able to push and lift your body with your arms locked out. So we're just gonna lean far enough and push until our feet come off the ground, then we're gonna come right back down. Now at the beginning when you're doing this, you may just come off like an inch off the ground or even half an inch, and that's okay. The more you train something, you're gonna develop more strength, and eventually you're gonna be able to raise higher and more comfortably, as well as doing it for a lot more repetitions. And by that time, you should definitely be able to full planche, at least just for a second with your hands on the ground. And at that point, your main focus should be leaning and holding that position as long as you can. And once you're able to do full planche lean raises for at least 10 reps, you should be able to hold a full planche for at least 2 seconds. And that's what's gonna lead us into step 10. But if you're still having trouble with step 9, remember you wanna train all the previous progressions, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. All the progressions are gonna help you through your entire full planche journey, and as I mentioned before, even if you can already full planche, they're still gonna strengthen and increase your full planche hold. And once you've mastered step 9 and you're able to do at least 10 full planche lean raises with perfect form, then you're ready for step 10, and that's gonna be attempting a full planche hold once every 2 minutes, kind of like every minute on the minute, except you're waiting 2 minutes in between. Doing this training is gonna take your 2-second planche to 5 seconds, and your 5 seconds to 10 seconds, and so forth. And don't forget to incorporate all the other previous progressions to continue your full planche training. And that's gonna be it on how to full planche in 10 steps. I'm gonna go for step 10 right now. So I would attempt 1, wait 2 minutes, or 1 if you're feeling fresh, and then go for 1 again. Now I'll continue that training for as long as I can until I can't do any more, and start working down the progressions or start incorporating other progressions like the dumbbell straight arm flies. And that's gonna complete today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, definitely smash that like button. Leave a comment down below. Let me know what you want the next video to be about. This video was actually special requested from the comment section. A lot of you guys have been asking me how to do full planche push-ups after I uploaded my last video, push-ups level 1 to 10. And I wanna show you guys how to do full planche push-ups, but I can't show you how to do full planche push-ups until you learn the full planche. So coming up next, I'm gonna be showing you how to do full planche push-ups. So share this video with a friend that's trying to learn how to full planche. If you haven't already, make sure you're subscribed. I post every single Thursday, 2 p.m. USA Eastern time. And if you comment within the first 30 minutes, you always have a chance to win some free Harriet apparel. And of course, to get this routine on your phone and full access to all my personal workout programs that teach you how to train like this, incorporating this style of training and with specific goals like burning fat, getting shredded, and developing solid muscle, make sure you download the Harriet Pro app in the App Store or Google Play Store, and make sure you become a member on harrietpro.com to get full access to my personal workouts and programs, and start getting in the best shape of your life. And for more of my content during the week, make sure you're following me on Instagram. Almost every single post, I'll always do some type of giveaway. If you want a chance to be a part of that, make sure you're following me on IG. And if you're enjoying the music, make sure to follow me on SoundCloud. That's where I post all my music first. But you can also find my music that you hear on this channel on all other music platforms like Spotify and Apple Music. And with that said, I'll see you guys next Thursday, 2 p.m. USA Eastern time. Mad love. Peace out.
Thought it was nothing, I couldn't wait to prove you wrong. Now I'm already stunned, had no one to put me on, had to cover the budget. Now you wanna get along, cause you all wanna touch it. Now you know that I'm the one, ain't no question of nothing. You know the phone that I be on, turning nothing to something. I hit the gas and I'm gone, I ain't got no time for discussions. I hit the gas and I'm gone, ain't got no time for discussions. Cause I ain't tryna play those games with you. Shit ain't been the same since I lay with you. I ain't tryna trip everything around you.
That's that like button, guys.